Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived an amazingly beautiful girl called Cindrella. Cindrella's mother had passed away a few years ago, and that's why her father had brought her up. They were very close. Cindrella loved her father very much, and her father also loved her very much. One day, her father brought home a wife, Cindrella's stepmother. Now, the stepmother already had two daughters. They were both very jealous of Cindrella's beauty and how kind she was. The stepmother and stepsisters always tried to make life very hard for Cindrella. They didn't like her at all. And then Cindrella's father had to go away for work. And Cindrella was very sad because she knew her father would be coming back only after many, many days. She bade him goodbye. And this is the time Cindrella's mother, stepmother, and her two daughters decided to really make life hard for Cindrella. When Cindrella was in the garden talking to the birds, the stepmother came and said, "Cindrella, from today you will live in the attic. You will leave your room and go up into the attic, and that will be your room. You will be doing all the housework all by yourself. Nobody will help you. And please, you need to get out of that dress. I don't want to see you in that dress. It's too nice for you." Cindrella didn't know what to do, but she thought it was best now to follow her stepmother's orders. So she took all her things and she went up to the attic. It was so cold there. But she tried to make the best of it. She would do all the housework every day, all day long, while her sisters, her stepsisters, sat around, lazing around, doing nothing. And the stepmother and stepsisters enjoyed making fun of her. Sometimes in the night, it would be so cold that Cindrella would come down from the attic shivering, and she would lie down in front of the fire, trying to get warm. She didn't have any friends at all, only the mice in the attic and the birds that came to visit her. Now this is when there was an announcement from the king. He said there would be a big ball and everybody in the village was invited. The king was going to choose a princess for his son, the prince. Hearing this, the stepsisters were so excited. They ran home to tell their mother, Mother, there's going to be a ball and the prince is going to choose his princess." The mother was so excited. "Wonderful ladies, wonderful girls. Now we have to get ready. We have to get ready for everything. We have to go to the seamstress. We have to stitch clothes for you because the prince will choose one of you as his wife and you will be the princess and we will all live happily in the castle." Now Cindrella also wanted to go. Hearing this, she was very excited. She started helping her stepsisters. Now they were busy every day trying on clothes, putting on makeup in front of the mirror, always turning this way and that way. And Cindrella was always helping them. When finally the day of the ball came, the sisters rose very early in the morning and they called out to Cindrella, "Cindrella, get me my dress, get me my things, help me here, help me there." Oh, Cindrella was running around so busy trying to get these ladies ready. And then she asked her stepmother, "Can I also come?" Her stepmother and her sisters started laughing. "What would a servant girl do in a castle? You're not invited." But the king said all the girls in this town are invited. I'm also invited. I also would like to go. But they laughed at her and they said, "By the time we come back, You will finish all your duties. You will clean the house from top to bottom, and you will finish everything." And they left. Cinderella was so sad. She sat there and burst into tears. Oh dear. She so wanted to go to the ball. She so wanted to see the castle and the prince. Oh, what a lovely sight it would be. So many colors, so many lights, such big rooms, such lovely songs and dancing. Oh, how she would like to go. Right at that moment, a very bright light appeared. At first, Cinderella did not understand what it was. She was staring at the light, and suddenly, a beautiful fairy appeared in the middle of the light. "My beautiful Cinderella, don't cry. You too will go to the ball at the castle." Cinderella couldn't believe her ears. She asked in shock, "Can I go? Just look at me." "Oh, do not worry. I'm here to help you. Now bring me a pumpkin and 7 mice. Cinderella couldn't understand why she wanted these things, but still she did as she was told. First, she went to the kitchen and grabbed a big pumpkin. Then she went to the attic and got her mice friends and went down again. With her magic wand, the fairy turned the pumpkin into a beautiful horse carriage. Wow! Then she turned the mice into footmen and a driver for the carriage. It was beautiful. The mice had turned into horses also. Cindrella was amazed. The fairy turned to her. When she touched her with the magic wand, Cinderella's dress turned into a beautiful ball gown. So beautiful it was. And the slippers on her feet turned into beautiful glass shoes. Wow! Amazing! I look like a princess, said Cindrella. Now it is time to go to the ball, but don't forget, you must be home when the clock strikes 12, said the fairy. Because by then, everything will change into back what it was. It will change back into what it was. Then she hopped into the carriage, and the carriage started for the castle. Her carriage stopped in front of the castle. When Cindrella entered through the grand doors to the ballroom, all eyes were on her. She looked so beautiful and elegant. Her stepmother and even her stepsisters could not stop looking at this beautiful lady. Of course, they didn't even think it was Cindrella. They couldn't believe it. Suddenly, the prince appeared before them. Cindrella really stood out amongst all the young women at the ball. The prince fell in love with her at first sight. With everyone watching, he began walking down the stairs slowly. He went towards Cindrella. The stepsisters thought he was coming to them, but the prince passed them quickly and went to Cindrella. "Can I have this dance?" asked the prince. And Cindrella happily agreed. And they danced so beautifully together. Cindrella was so happy with the music. She was so happy to be dancing. She felt like it was all a dream. They danced non-stop all night long. Of course, Cindrella could not feel how time had passed. And then the clock, the big clock. She saw the time. It was about to be midnight. She knew she had to run. If she didn't, everything would turn back into what it was. Her carriage would become a pumpkin. Her horses would become mice. And so would a footman and driver. She stopped. She turned around and ran in panic. She ran towards the carriage. She did not have time to look back. And when she went down the stairs, one of the glass slippers slipped off her feet. And as she ran, everything changed. Everything turned back. Her carriage became a pumpkin. Her dress, her beautiful ball dress, was gone. And then the prince came down the stairs. He didn't see her anywhere, but he found her glass shoe on the stairs. And he told his guards, "Find the owner of the shoe, even if you have to get all the girls in the kingdom to try it. Just find her." Cindrella came home, breathless. She went straight to the attic. She sat on her bed and started thinking. She knew she had no chance, but still, she had fallen in love with the prince. Oh dear, what am I going to do now? It was almost impossible for the prince to find her, and even if he did, he would never recognize her. The prince's men went door to door to every house in the kingdom. They knocked at their door and looked for the young girl who owned the shoe. But the shoe did not fit any of these girls. In the end, the prince's men came to Cindrella's house. Cindrella was very happy to see the king's carriage in front of the house. She started running towards the door, but her stepmother appeared at the door. "Where do you think you're going? You want to try the shoe too?" Huh. With a sarcastic laugh, the stepmother locked the door to the attic. "No, please, stop! Open the door, please! How pathetic! What would the prince have in common with you?" The men first let the old skinny sister try the shoe, but it was too small for her. "Look how beautifully it fit my foot," said the sister. Then the younger chubby sister tried the shoe, but a chubby foot did not even get in the shoe. "Maybe if we had to try it on my other foot," said the sister. Whatever they did, it just would not work. Finally, Cindrella's last try was to run to the window, but it was too high. So she began crying. Seeing her crying, her mice friends came next to her. "My stepmom locked me in," said Cindrella. "She must have the key." One of the mice slipped under the door and ran downstairs. The stepmother was at the door with the prince's men. Why don't you come tomorrow, today? They're a little tired. Their feet have swollen up." The mouse jumped on the stepmother's skirt and, snatching the keys out of her pocket, ran back towards Cindrella. He slipped the keys under the door. Cindrella took the keys so fast, and she unlocked the door, and out of the room she ran. She ran out the front door. "Please stop! Don't go! I want to try the shoe too." The stepmother and her two daughters started to laugh. "Please, shush," said the guard. "It is a prince's orders that every girl in the kingdom has to try the shoe." So they went inside. When Cindrella tried the shoe on, everybody was in shock because it fitted her perfectly. "Young lady, are you the owner of this shoe?" Cindrella nodded. She said, "Yes, I am. Please come to the prince." Cindrella went to the castle with the prince's men, and as soon as the prince looked into her eyes, he knew. He knew that he had found his princess. He held her hands. "I finally found you, my princess," said he. "Will you marry me?" With teary eyes from happiness, she accepted the prince's offer. She said, "Yes, I will marry you." They got married very quickly. And they lived happily ever after.